Hey, how's it going? Davidinark here, and today I thought we would take a walk down memory lane, at least memory lane for me. While a lot of folks think of the Wild West days of DOS gaming to mean games like Wolfenstein 3D and Doom and Duke 3D, for other folks like myself, I think back to games before that, like Wizardry and Ultima, and the insane slew of games that came out based on TV game shows. Companies like ShareData and GameTech kicked out CGA DOS games based on television game shows that we were all watching in those days. And they covered just about everything, from games like Card Sharks and Classic Concentration to the heavy hitters like Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy. These companies brought TV game shows out of the living room and into the bedroom, or wherever the home computer was located at the time. Each game tried to faithfully recreate the experience to give every player the experience of actually being on the featured game show. In each of these TV games, players had the option to play against other humans huddled around the computer, what we call couch multiplayer these days, or they could play against computer opponents. That was very cool for the time, where I could actually play this TV game show against the computer. I didn't have to have other people around. By contrast, board games of the time or family games of the time based on TV game shows required that you had 2 to 4 to 6 to 8 actual players. And here, I could play against the computer. In Card Sharks, players have to guess how many people out of 100 answer bizarre questions in a particular way. The opposing player would then guess whether the actual number of people was higher or lower. Then the correct player was shown a card, and then they played a game of higher or lower, basically, in order to try to win rounds. Then at the end of the match, the winner, the person who had the most points, was taken to the bonus round where they could wager money to bet whether the next card was higher or lower. And then at the end, however much money you ended up with is what you won. It's simple. Classic Concentration, it was also a TV show. It pitted 2 players against each other as well. Here, each player took turns trying to match different prizes. Each match would reveal the game board, which featured a secret message that had to be decoded from the drawings and the clues shown. Often the solutions were goofy puns or phrases. Looking back now, the values of the prizes seem so low compared to what those same prizes might cost now, but it doesn't matter. It was fun, and frankly, still is fun to try to make the matches and guess the puzzles. They even created games like Double Dare, which featured 2 teams answering trivia questions. The answering team could either try to answer the question or they could dare the other team to try to answer. And if the team missed the answer, they had to take part in various activities, such as a banana toss or bowling. Now, on the TV show, the contestants had to do this for real. They actually had to bowl with cantaloupes or throw bananas at a studio monkey. Here, it was recreated on the computer, and the experience, it's not exactly the same, but it was still fun. There were other games like High Rollers, in which the players had to answer questions and then either roll a pair of dice or force their opponent to roll the dice in order to eliminate numbers from a board. If a player rolled and they couldn't make a play, then they lost the round. So the idea was to force your opponent to make a roll they couldn't win. High Rollers was one of the few games to actually feature the TV host on the screen in any fashion. In this case, a still shot of Wink Martindale, yes, that was the host's name, it made the experience more, dare I say, lifelike? There he was, on your screen, in your house, in the game you were playing. I know it seems a little silly, but seriously, it was just cool. In Jeopardy, the game on the computer mimicked what the viewers saw each afternoon on their TVs. Three players, human and or computer, chose categories and provided the questions to the answers shown. Now, not only could you feel stupid while you were watching the TV show, you could demonstrate your stupidity to your friends and your family as you played. It was great fun. Actually, I mean, it really was. Game shows were a huge part of the 80s, and to be able to feel like you were taking part in those programs was exciting. Even if it was in 4-color CGA, blind your eyes glory. And for simple as Jeopardy is as a game concept in DOS on a PC, there were also games like Press Your Luck. So in Press Your Luck, 3 players answered questions. Are you sensing a pattern here, by the way? It was like every game show you had to answer questions. Anyway, you would earn spins. So after several questions, then the players would use those spins to try to earn money from cash and prizes on a big board, which rotated those prizes on various graphics. On various screens. The players wanted to win money while they were avoiding the whammy, who would steal the players' money and force them to start again from zero or wipe them out of the game. Again, even though the game is in CGA graphics, and those graphics were a bit of an eye strain, we didn't care. We were playing Press Your Luck at home on our computers. It was novel, but it was amazing, and it was fun, except for the stupid freaking whammy. Anyway, another company that got into the game show market was High Tech Expressions. They snagged the rights to make games like MTV's Remote Control. Now, back in the days, right after MTV only showed music videos, they ventured into all kinds of other programming, such as game shows. Remote Control had 3 contestants hanging out in a bed or recliners or whatever they were supposed to be doing. But anyway, they did what game shows did best. They answered questions. Of course, this was MTV, so the questions were current for the day, centered on pop culture references, and they provided goofy entertainment. So now you could enjoy the same silliness on your computer with your friends that you were seeing on MTV. Plus, okay, it was also a great way to show your mom and dad just how old and out of touch they really were. Although, in my case, they often got a lot of the questions that I had no idea. I don't know what that says. Anyway, some game shows required a bit of reworking in order to translate to the home computer. Take Super Password, for example. In this game, players work with celebrities to guess clues and keywords in order to solve a mystery phrase and win money. This required the players to type in their answers in the DOS game and or provide their clues. Do you know what a pain it is to try to type the right answer, but not have it be the exact answer that the programmer put in the game so you lose the round? Frustrating as all get out, but we kept on playing because we were in the game show. Despite the limitations, we were having fun. Heck, sometimes because of the limitations, we were having fun. And speaking of fun, there were computer versions of Family Feud, $100,000 Pyramid, and The Price is Right. Yeah, that's right. You could play The Price is Right in your own home. This was crazy. Of course, trying to play now is hard because the prices of things in the 80s was way different than those same items would be now. But you bid, and if you won, then you got to play one of the many classic Price is Right challenges. But what was also cool is that even if you didn't win, you could choose to take on the computer's role in the mini games. So you could still play even if you didn't win. It was awesome. Eventually, in the game, they've got the spinning wheel and the showcase showdown. I mean, it was all right here, ready for any PC owner to jump in and take part. And then, as I mentioned before, we have the ever-classic Wheel of Fortune. In the earliest version, Vanna wasn't really Vanna, and there was certainly no Pat Sajak. You had a red-haired woman to take on the role of Vanna. And really, that was close enough. We didn't care. We were living Wheel of Fortune, huddled around a 15-inch CRT monitor and a DOS PC, most likely at the time an XT or 286, possibly a 386 if you had the dough to afford one. The game itself played just as you expect. You spin the wheel, you pick letters, you buy vowels, you go bankrupt, you solve the puzzles. Lather, rinse, repeat. It's the same formula they've used for decades even now. The big difference came at the end. Nowadays, contestants choose from a prize from a wheel, and they go for that particular prize without knowing what it is. Back in those days, people actually had to shop and spend their winnings. It's a bizarre thing. If you go watch old Wheel of Fortune videos from the 80s and you watch them shopping at the end, it's so bizarre. But in the DOS game, you pick the prize you want to try for, such as the generically referenced American sports car. It didn't matter. What mattered is that we were living the Wheel of Fortune in our house with our friends. And finally, for this video anyway, we're going to end things with Win, Lose, or Draw. Now, Win, Lose, or Draw was actually a board game of sorts that you could play at home. It became a TV show, and then that became a DOS computer game based on the TV game show that was based on the board game you could already play at home. I don't know, it's like a circle of life kind of thing. In any case, players were put on a team with, quote, celebrities, and they had to try to guess what was being drawn on the screen within the allotted time. Now, sometimes guessing what the heck the computer was trying to draw was nearly impossible. But that was kind of the fun of it. I mean, just like the board game or the TV show, people didn't always draw well enough to get the idea across. It didn't matter. It was fun. It was a different way to use that old beige box sitting on the table. You were playing Win, Lose, or Draw on your computer. So cool. Though my DOS nostalgia often harkens back to Doom and Hexen and games like that, every now and then I go back a little further to the days before millions of color in super high-def, high-res, before the days even of VGA 256 color or the whopping 16 colors of EGA. I go back to the days of 4-color CGA and the very first editions of our favorite TV game shows. By the way, all of these games are available through the archive.org DOS gaming emulator, and many of them are available for download from archive.org. Sure, the graphics are outdated, the music is simple beeps and boops from the PC speaker, and some of the TV game shows really should have never existed on TV, let alone in DOS format, but there's something fun and endearing in taking part in the experience that is DOS TV game show games. Hey, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this little trip down memory lane for me. You got any questions, problems, suggestions, horror stories? Feel free to leave those down in the comment section below. Special thanks to GamerGull, Hero of God, and LosWilko for supporting the channel on Patreon. You can check that out, patreon.com/davidinark. And thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Have a great day.